guys, today's video we have a special guest. This is my husband Tyler, but everyone calls him Bubby. You may have seen him here on my channel before, a long time ago. However, I thought it would be fun to sit down today with him and talk about some new parenting questions, like kind of more like experiences with being a new parent and questions that arise maybe before you're a new parent. But we're gonna do it mukbang style. I don't know if that's how you say it, but we're gonna eat some chilies. We have food all out in front of us, and we're just gonna go through. We have some questions that we're gonna answer, so I guess we'll just go ahead and get started.
Works for me.
I guess I need to eat while I'm doing it. I can't just like not eat.
I'm gonna eat. I'm not scared.
You either love this kind of video or you hate this kind of video, because some people hate hearing people talk while they eat.
Me.
This
I hate
guy.
it.
But you're just gonna have to get over it.
Anyway.
Okay, so I got my handy dandy little questions right here. When I tried to like Google questions to get some ideas, nothing great came up, but these are kind of topics that we found and things we had questions on before we became parents. Our daughter is 17 months old now, so it's been a little bit since we were like fresh new parents, but
it's not that far away.
No.
We're not that far ahead.
Surprisingly, this first one is one of the top things that comes up when you talk about becoming a new parent and having a new baby at home, and that is changing diapers. And this is, were you nervous to change diapers, and how do you keep the baby from peeing on you when you change a diaper?
Well, I have never changed a diaper because I was the youngest of my brothers by a long shot, and I had never done it before I had my child. So my experience was a lot different from hers because she was
I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so
she's been there, done that. So my first time, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I just went in, did the first one, and I was like, this ain't too bad. It's really not that bad. No, I think, well, you just have to remember, like, keep it not backwards, because sometimes you open them and then, like, the sticker part's on the front and their stickers are to the back. Yeah, I've had to flip them around a bunch of times. I've never been peed on, but we had poop fly across her room one time when she was really little, and that was a terrible experience. That was a good one. It was a good one. Yeah. I was standing there, and I knelt down, and I just got up, and she, like, strained and just squirted poop all over where I was just standing, so I missed it by the skin of my teeth. So what I started to do is I still do it now. I get everything ready. I have the clean diaper right beside her, already unfolded, and then I take the dirty diaper off and have the other one ready, just in case. That's how I did it. Yeah. Just to kind of like block and be ready in case something else did happen. There was no not having a diaper at all on her. I did it real quick. That's how I started to do it. Yeah, I kind of have everything there. I have my wipes. I have like multiple wipes. If it's a poopy diaper, I keep wipes like pulled out already. And then I like kind of hold the diaper there until I'm ready to wipe. And then like if I have to get a new wipe, I kind of cover her back up with the diaper. Yeah. So that if she would start peeing, and it's not so bad now. No. Like when she was little, they can't really control. But I'm still gun shy from it. I'm still leery about it, but she does have a lot more control now. Today she was like laying there and I didn't have a diaper on her at all, and she like farted and she laughed, and I was like, you're not pooping, are you? And I heard him put a new diaper on her. She didn't poop, but it's just one of those things where you get nervous. Yeah. Okay, question number 2. Scary things that babies do that are actually normal. So what are things that babies may do that you get nervous about, but it's not really a big deal? Breathe weird. I think they breathe weird. It freaks me out. I couldn't sleep for the first couple of nights because I've never done this before, and I was super freaked out by the breathing. The slightest little difference in the breath, I was scared. They make weird faces. Like sometimes they'll make a face and it looks like they're in pain. A lot of times it's just gas, and they'll work it out. Especially when they're really little, they get gassy and then they make like little facial expressions, and sometimes it looks like they're smiling and sometimes it looks like they're like in agony, but it's really not a big deal. She smiled a lot when she did it. It wasn't bad. Yeah, but I know of other babies that they just like cringe kind of like anytime like
gas is moving through their system. She had like the baby rash that kind of freaked me out. That my doctor said was totally normal. It's just like a little bumpy rash they get right after birth, like maybe a couple weeks after birth. And baby acne was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That freaked me out because they get like little white pimples all over their face. But that can be normal. Some babies get it, some babies don't. But my doctor assured me that was a normal thing to happen. It's like hormone fluctuation. How do you keep baby asleep? How do you get a good sleeper? And co-sleeping. We're kind of bunching all of those into one question / concern.
I think it's kind of hit or miss. I don't think you can make them a good sleeper. It's just kind of, I mean, you can do things to help, like...
They recommend you wake them up every 2 to 3 hours in the beginning. Like, you have to wake them up to feed them. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to medically, I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your kid or what you should do because I'm not medically trained. But she pretty much woke up when she was hungry and she was gaining weight properly, so I wasn't as concerned. Like, if she wasn't gaining weight, of course, I'd be waking her up every 2 hours. And we did for, like, the first,
it didn't last long.
5 days, maybe, week. But after that, we kind of just let her sleep and wake up. And she would wake up every, like, 4 to 6 hours instead of, like, 3 hours.
She was a really good sleeper.
But, like I said, she was gaining weight, so I wasn't concerned about waking her up every 2 to 3 hours.
And I think that did help with her, because she sleeps really well now.
And co-sleeping, we co-slept. We still do sometimes. Depends. This is the guy
I was bad.
He was the co-sleeper.
It was my fault.
I work night shift, so he's home alone with her at night some days. Well, whenever I work. So, like, 4 days a week. So, he is the one that would just co-sleep with her, which, I mean, it is easier. And her and I co-sleep for naps during the day. Okay, how old was your child when you went on your first overnight trip?
Not very old.
Yeah.
She wasn't that old.
We went to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, she was little. You remember? Your mom got another room and we stayed in a different room with her.
Yeah, but where did we go?
I don't remember. But we went when she was little.
Oh, we went to see Wyatt play baseball.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was in February.
No.
It was...
April. So she was 4 months old.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. We went when she was 4 months old and we had her little sleeper thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like stressful or anything, I didn't think. It was
just like at home. Just make sure you bring everything.
Yeah. How long should you wait to go in public? I know public can be a little bit stressful to a lot of people. We didn't wait very long, but we were probably not very smart in that sense.
I think we should have waited longer.
Yeah. I mean, you can't shelter them because they're going to get exposed to stuff eventually. And she was a very healthy child the first year. She got sick one time the entire first year that she was alive. And we had her out in public when she was like 2 weeks old. So, I mean, you can't shelter them, but I think we should have waited. I think 2 weeks is a little too early, especially not being vaccinated and stuff, which vaccines are a whole nother thing that... How do you know when it's time to call the doctor? Like, when is something serious enough that it's time to call?
Fever. I think.
Fever's higher than, I think, 102, 103. And you can always call, like, your on-call doctor and get an opinion. They'll tell you whether you think that you should go to the ER or come into the office or something. But they tell you, I mean, like, you're going to want to call for everything pretty much in the beginning because everything's going to freak you out. It's just the nature of being a new parent. But I think high fevers, any like lethargy, stuff like that. And
we were pretty lucky with that because both of our parents had multiple kids, so we can always call them and see what they think first.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think if you have somebody that you can call that you trust that's raised children, like a grandparent,
just
parent,
get
or
their
like
opinion.
Yeah, like a friend who's had kids, ask them first, see what they think. Sometimes you might be freaking out for no reason, or it's not that serious. What about postpartum anxiety and depression? I didn't really have postpartum depression, and my anxiety wasn't too bad. His was probably worse than mine, and he wasn't even postpartum. I mean, your emotions right after birth are, let me tell you, they're freaking...
I was super postpartum. I was like...
Yeah. Like, I remember I cried in the hospital. Or no. Well, I cried in the hospital when they had to, like, catheter her. Like, urine cath. I didn't like that. And normally, like, hospital stuff doesn't bother me because I work in a hospital and I see it all the time. Like, that stuff doesn't really get to me. I also cried when we were home because she had to wear diapers. Like...
I forgot.
That was, like, within the first week. Like, I just felt so sorry for her that she had to wear diapers and she was, like, a week old. And I think it was just part of the postpartum emotions that you have and, like, all the hormones and everything that's going on.
I'm laughing because it's funny now. It wasn't as funny then.
I mean, but it was so sad to me that she had to wear diapers and I just couldn't control my emotions. Like, I just cried because my poor baby she wasn't potty trained yet and she was only, like, a week old. As far as anxiety goes, I mean... I was always nervous for, like, little things. I still get nervous about things, but I'm not, like, a freak about stuff. Like, I'm not a hover or, like...
I am.
He is. I'm not. How scary is labor and delivery?
I was scared.
I wasn't scared until my water broke, and then I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Like, it wasn't real to me.
I was cool then, at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, alright. Yeah, I'll grab the stuff.
And then once we got to... Well, my contractions started on the way to the hospital, and that made it a lot more real. And contractions hurt. They didn't really hurt that much until I got, like, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters dilated, I would say. And then
well, we wouldn't know.
Well, yeah. I got the epidural then.
Yeah, that was the worst part for me.
He was, like, shaking, and I was like...
Well, first off...
I mean, I was, like, crying, but...
The guy who was doing it was an idiot, and I wanted to blast him in the face because...
Regardless, I recommend the epidural. Anybody, I'm, like, pro-epidural, get it, because you don't want to be... Either going to do it natural or just get the epidural, is what I say.
But anyway, he was standing there behind her, and I was holding her from the front, so I'm watching this, and he rams the thing in and misses... and is wiggling it around, and she's, like, screaming because it hurts so bad. And I'm just staring at this guy, and I'm pretty sure I could have killed him with the look I was giving him.
You could have. I could feel him shaking, holding me, and then the nurse was like, are you okay? Do you need to sit down? To him, as I'm crying, and then I'm fine, but then it takes a little bit for, like, the medicine to kick in and stuff, so it wasn't terrible. If I have another kitty, I would definitely get it again because I'm a wimp and I just don't have the pain tolerance to do it natural. But I will say the epidural was what I was most nervous for with labor. Like, I was most nervous to have something shoved in my back.
Yeah, I thought that would be the easiest part for me. It was the worst part for me, I think.
After the epidural and everything started kicking in, I mean, she was backwards, so I did have some pain there. Or, like, she was sunny side up. So I had pain, she was, like, pushing into my lower back. So that was, like, the pain there was trumping the epidural. So that was pretty bad. But
we had a really good doctor.
Yeah.
She was really good.
The delivery itself was not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Like, it was bad.
I mean, there was like 100 people in that room for some reason.
It's because her heart rate went up.
Yeah, and they were nervous about that, and it was like 900 degrees in there.
Oh, I was sweating so bad. He was, like, bathing me with a wet washcloth, and I was just,
that was my job.
Dying because it was so hot, and, I mean, you're pushing a baby out.
Well, they handed me a cold cloth, and as soon as I put it on her head, I think the steam come off of it. It was evaporating so fast. And then everybody left me there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. This isn't helping anymore. Yeah. I think they replaced it one time.
Yeah, I remember them putting a new one on me, but, I mean, that's, like, the most strenuous physical activity you're ever going to do in your life, which my body hurts so bad for, like, the next 2 weeks. And I mean, that was the worst part, is, like, then afterwards, I mean, you suck it up and you do it because you're a mom, but dang, my body was in pain for a while.
And I'm just standing there, there's nothing I can do to help, really.
No.
Because I'm just like...
But then it's like, once you have the baby, it's just like...
Yeah, I could see it. I watched it in her face. It was like... And then...
It's just like relief, and then you have your baby, and it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, they took her away. I didn't get to hold her, like, right when I had her, because her heart rate was really high, and they had to check her out. But I had him go be with her, and then they did finally... Or they did put her on my chest first. Mm-hmm. They put her on my chest for, like...
Yeah, for like a second.
Yeah, for maybe 10 seconds. I got to look at her, and then they took her, because her heart rate was really high. But then he went with her, and they, you know, did what they had to do with me, and then pretty much it just went on from there.
Yeah.
It was pretty uneventful after that. Okay, does your life really change that much, or like how much does your life change after having a baby?
I think the biggest thing is the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that really changes. You still got to get up and go to work and come home, and you got to figure that part out. But as far as, I mean, you really don't have your freedoms anymore as much. I mean, you kind of, if you do, you kind of got to take turns. Like,
I mean, you just make it work. Like,
yeah, like she went out tonight. I watched her, and I play baseball, and I go play baseball, and she'll watch her. Or if she's off, she comes and watches.
You just have to kind of prioritize your time. Like,
yeah, it's not that bad.
No, I mean, your life definitely changes. Like, I was really nervous to be the sole, like, person in charge of a human, of another person. Not like soul, but him and I. But like, if I'm free, I have her with me. So, unless he's watching her, or my mom will watch her sometimes for us. But like, it cuts into time for us. Like, we used to just go do whatever we wanted. Now it's like, okay, we have to either find a sitter or take her with us. And then now it's like, okay, well, we used to go to this restaurant, and now we can't really go to that restaurant because we have a toddler. And
yeah, and her allergies too.
Yeah, she has allergies.
Dictates where we go.
That cuts into some stuff too. But for the most part, like, it changes, but it's a good change, I think. I mean, makes you grow up, I guess. And the last question I have here is, what roles did each parent have once baby came home?
I kind of did a lot of the bottle dishes at first, a lot.
Yeah, well, the first, like, week I was kind of out of it. Like, I pretty much was just...
I kind of ran around and did...
Yeah, you did, like, the home stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I was pretty much confined to the couch. And, like, breastfeeding in itself is hard. It's definitely hard, and I commend anyone who sticks with it for a long time. She was tongue-tied, so I couldn't breastfeed straight up. Like, we tried it for a while, but it just wasn't working out till we got her tongue fixed. And then by the time we got her tongue fixed, she was already on the bottle, so it was hard for her to go back to natural. But I breast pumped instead, so that she was still getting the breast milk, and that is like, you're like glued to that thing all day long, especially in the beginning, because I had to pump like every...
that stupid manual one.
Yeah, I had a manual pump for the first like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Because
they never put in my order for my electric breast pump. So I was pumping every 2 to 3 hours, and I swear I gained like Popeye like arms overnight because I was like pumping that thing. I would be sitting there crying, like in tears, and he would come and like pump it for me because I just couldn't do it anymore because my arms were so tired. And breastfeeding is like, I think breastfeeding pain was worse than like the labor pain, to be honest. Like when we were trying to breastfeed, that was some bad pain. But yeah, roles, I mean, I was just like the feeder, essentially.
Yeah, well,
and he was, like,
the other
the
thing is she had her maternity leave, and I had to go back to work a lot earlier than she did because I didn't get paternity leave at all. So I do get a week vacation that my company gives me over Christmas, and it just happened to fall right then. So I got that week, and then I had to take PTO the rest of the time, and it was, instead of taking it all at once, I split it in half days. So I took half day for 2 weeks just to try to stretch it out longer and help out.
Mm-hmm. We just hung out at home during that time. We didn't go anywhere or do much, but... Alright, well, I think that's gonna complete this video. Hope you guys had fun watching us. I feel like I didn't eat very much because I was, like, answering all these questions and stuff, but...
I was eating.
We just wanted to try it, and we thought it'd be fun to sit down and eat some food and talk about these questions. And we will probably be doing more videos in the future. If you have questions you want us to answer, then please leave them in the comments. And if you have video ideas, leave them in the comments. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Well, as soon as they handed me a cold claw.
Oh, Jesus.
He does that. You gotta let it go. Anyway, I'm gonna have this stain on me the whole time.
Your ranch stain.
Because I'm a slob.